Now we're on.
Hi.
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 So today we're going to talk about how we all met each other, and you'll realize just how small a world it is. So, when I was a sophomore in high school, my dad came downstairs one day. He worked at a power plant, and in the paper, was in their paper, not in
Their
the actual
company
paper,
newsletter.
in the company newsletter, they had a ad about Dare to Dream Productions presents The Hobbit, and it was open auditions. So my dad comes downstairs one day and he goes, "Hey Robert, you want to audition for The Hobbit?" I'm like, "Sure."
Why not?
Yeah. So I went there and I got cast as Thorin. I was kind of surprised because I'm me, but uh, near the end, towards the middle of productions, is when I met TJ. He was doing backstage stuff for Dare Dream, and he's been doing it for more years than I've been involved with Dare Dream now. So,
That show technically was supposed to be my break, but I showed up for a show just to see it, and 2 hours later I was head backstage guy again. So I learned my lesson that day.
so that's how I met TJ. And then
I met TJ because I have gone to Denmark School District, which is a small town here in Wisconsin. I've gone to Denmark School District since kindergarten. And my freshman year in high school, there's all of a sudden this really scrawny kid with glasses that was interested in all the drama stuff with us. Um, and I knew a lot of the drama kids already uh, because I had been in previous productions at Denmark. We did Wizard of Oz, then we did Mame, Auntie Mame, and then we did. It's a really weird musical. It's not a bad musical. It's just a weird one for high schools to do, in my opinion. Because it's about an old spinster, which is basically like an old maid, but in like the 50s or the 20s, one of the two, I don't remember. Um, and then we did something else. We did Into the Woods when I was in 8th grade, and then my freshman year was when I was actually eligible to start being in plays instead of just musicals. And through Denmark Acting Troupe, or DAT, that's how I met TJ. TJ, do you have any other stories of what's your side of the story for meeting the two of us?
I remember I went in and man,
Do you want to tell
going.
the story of how we re-met?
Well, first I remember because I had been homeschooled my whole life. So, but then I got sent to go public school and didn't really know. I had no social skills to speak of growing up in a house by myself with my siblings, but that's it. So, for whatever reason, I ended up gravitating to this acting troupe because there's two groups. There was the one that did all like the school plays, the huge group all the people did, and then there was this little group, the acting troupe that kind of did more, you know, like short skit kind of stuff. It's like it wasn't like school plays; it was more like
We
doing a
did
little bit of
the
freshman orientation.
videos. Yeah, basically we did videos of what to expect coming in being a freshman. Um, Technical difficulties on TJ's end. We did the freshman orientation video. Oh, he's looking for the poster. We did freshman orientation videos, which is basically what to expect, and we do it in a funny way. Denmark acting.
Ah! I
Denmark
had the poster.
a lot of the time more did comedy than doing some of the more straight plays and everything like that. Not saying that the plays didn't do comedy, but we did short acting skits or improv or stuff like that. We didn't do the long 2 to 3 act plays like we did when we did plays.
We did short fun stuff. We did improv. We did skits. Watched a lot of Monty Python. I remember that because I remember you didn't know what Monty Python was, and that blew my mind. So like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna walk down to the library and I'm getting a copy of Holy Grail, and we are watching it. And like for the next month, every time we passed each other in the hallway, it just yay, and would whack ourselves with the books for like a month.
Whack ourselves in the heads with stuff. I think I still have indents in my face from smashing myself. And I remember on the special features of the DVD when we watched it at Dad, there was something about like if you're not doing this right, you can go ahead and take the corner and bludgeon yourself with it. Because it was telling you to hit yourself there was a tutorial on how to hit yourself in the face doing that chant.
And then we went to Comedy City. That's the trip I remember.
Oh, that was so much fun. And of course I got paired up with the stoner.
But you made an awesome skit about shoelaces that just was
Was that at Comedy City?
Yes, it was.
I thought it was no, because we did it for the talent show at one of the Gotcha Covered Mentor Night. For the I think it was the St. Patty's Day Mentor Night, which was basically an activity night to keep kids off the streets. There's so much bad stuff going on the streets in rural Wisconsin. But they had a talent show, and my best friend at the time, Jordan, and I seriously had a skit where we were just... It started off as a conversation of what we could do with shoelaces. Seriously, what we could do with shoelaces, because we were so bored at one point during some of the improv, because it was like a week-long improv class thing that we did there, wasn't it? Or it was at least two or three.
We went there every day for like at least, I thought it was 4 days, if I remember correctly, Monday through Thursday.
That's why I think it was like a week. Because I remember going to the Luna Cafe that was like down the street. I'm very sad that Second City it's not there anymore.
Yeah. I still have like the little bookmarks from the thrift shop at that, like the Comedy City little bookmark somewhere. I gotta find it.
Mm-hmm. Then I guess the next step in the story would be...
So after that, I only went to Denmark for 1 year, and then I went off to do charter school. And then I did Dare to Dream. I got into Dare to Dream in 2007 or 2009. I think it was 2007.
Hobbit.
2007. Yeah, in 2007. Because younger sister was going to audition. I'm like, oh, sure, I'll help her on backstage, because that's backstage stuff has always interested me. I've always been...
You're always the guy that did the editing and...
I did the editing, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, sure, and I really enjoyed it. So I was the head backstage guy for every play they did for like 4 or 5 years, something like that. So then I finally was like, okay, well, it's about time to go to college. So I started taking a break, but then I got pulled back in and met Robert. I didn't really get to know you very much through Hobbit, because I was very much hanging out with Sebastian at the time, and I was only there for a little bit. Like, by the time I got there, you were already in costume and, like, super serious. And it was weird. But then eventually, through more Dare to Dream stuff, since you were, like...
Actually, I think the first time we really started hanging out was Holly's LARP party.
So, yeah, afterwards, we ended up becoming friends because you were one of the only other guys my age there. So it was just kind of like... Oh, we're both really weird, and this is starting to work, so okay.
That LARP party was where Mordrog came out. Or was that the Warrior? That was the Warrior, wasn't it?
Yeah, because that's where the LFW story comes from. But then, while they're all doing that, the Hobbit, actually, one of the performances was the day that Denmark graduated. Our class from Denmark would have graduated. Which... Yeah. Trips me up sometimes when I think about 16-year-old Robert was Thorin the day I graduated from high school. But then I went off and moved around a bunch and tried going to school a couple times and ended up working at a gas station that's very close to where my parents live. And it was really funny because a girl that I went to high school with that actually started the year after TJ left was talking about this creepy kid that I was going to have to work with. He was the first he was the first person that I had to work alone with without a training shift. And he was new too, so they were all very confused on why we were working together. But he's like, everyone was, watch out for this Robert kid. He's really weird. And it's Robert. Don't try and call him Bob or anything like that. Call him Robert. He doesn't like his name shortened. All this different stuff. And they thought he was super creepy. And I actually just sat down and talked to him a little bit at work and found out that he was just a theater geek like I was. And I had to explain to all the other girls, I'm like, he's not creepy, he's just a theater geek. He's just into different stuff. He's not your atypical guy that came into the
Bro,
gas.
dude.
He's not your atypical.
Dude,
All the guys that
Dude.
come into our gas station were the guys with the lifted trucks that they would take mud and stuff. But yeah, so I met Robert through there, and a couple months later we started dating.
And I took her to DaishoCon with me.
This is the fun part. I always take a group of friends to DaishoCon, which is a anime/gaming convention here in Wisconsin, in Wisconsin Dells. And I'd gone a couple years, and I'm trying to. A lot of the people I usually went with were either going with other groups or just not around. So I was like, oh my gosh, this Robert kid. He seems like he'd be a lot of fun to hang out with. So I brought him, and he's like, oh, can I bring my girlfriend? And I'm just like, eh. And at the same time, it meant we had to pay a lot less for our room, so it's like, okay, whatever. Because I had already bought the two-room suite. So I was like, okay, we'll just throw them in the room or whatever. We just won't worry about it. They finally show up. It's like, oh, Robert, oh, this is my girlfriend. Alyssa. It's like, hi. I'm sitting directly behind her, and the entire, 3-hour drive there, I'm just like...
Staring at the back of her head.
Staring at the back of my head, but I was wearing this giant fuzzy monster hat thing. So that could have been why it took him so long. It's a 3-hour drive to get from basically
where I lived at the time to the convention. And again, I was directly behind you, so I never got to look at your face. And I'm just like, the entire drive is like, I don't know many people, but I know this person. I don't get it. So we're in the lobby waiting for her to get our room.
After we had just talked to J. Michael Tatum, who called her a dwarf. No, fun-sized. He called you fun-sized.
J. Michael Tatum is a voice actor on Black Butler, is the one that everyone knows him from. And he is 6'6". He's super freaking tall.
He calls himself a titan.
He
goes, you're fun-sized. I'm just a titan.
Yes, because we pushed his sister up to go talk to him because she's thinks he's a god. But anyway, so
now we're finally standing around, and I'm staring awkwardly at you, and I finally, it's like, okay, it's going to sound weird, but I know you from somewhere. I was kind of like, yeah.
I went to
okay. Not theater, would have known it.
I did this. I worked at Terra on the Fox. Was going through basically all the stuff that I had done in the 5 years it's been since I graduated high school, and then finally said, well, I went to Denmark High School.
And I go, Denmark acting troupe? Ah! And it finally clicked into place. It's like, holy crap, I haven't seen you in 10 years. This is weird. You were literally one of 5 people I was friends with in high school, and here you are dating one of my friends from theater. This is really weird. And for the next 3 days, that's pretty much all it was. Walk.
It would be, yeah, it would be like we'd randomly walk past each other and just be like, what?
This is cool, but it's weird, and I don't know how I feel about it.
It's a small world. It's so weird.
And now you get why I said that. Alright, well, we're getting close to 15 minutes here, so...
Yeah, we're about 4 minutes over what we normally do.
Yeah.
So we're going to cut it short.
Well, it's not exactly like we have a president having a whole 2 episodes. It's like, oh, breaking the president got months of content. We're just breaking laws left and right.
Well, I'd like to actually up it to 20 minutes instead of 10 minutes because it's really hard because we get on stories like this. And to me, 10 minutes is very short. I know attention spans are short, but 10 minutes is very short for something that's basically a roundtable discussion through the internet.
It's a minimum. It's a minimum, not a max. Shut up! It's a minimum, not a maximum.
Okay. Yesterday we were well under the minimum because we were basically like, hey, we went to see How to Train Your Dragon 2. It was awesome. We're super sleepy. Bye. Yeah. Dude, we did not get home till 1 o'clock last night. It was very tiring.
I'm
Um,
still super sleepy. I was doing the rib cookout where I work at festival, so I think I grilled like 120 racks of ribs today. I'm tired.
that's what we're having for supper tomorrow. Mom went and walked past you guys and was like, "No, I'm gonna get my own ribs and I'm gonna do it my own way." Me.
It
Yeah.
obviously wasn't when I was there because I would have given her endless amounts of crap for it. But
No,
I digress.
she didn't. Like when I went back to get what we had to get the stuff to make supper tonight, you weren't even there yet. It was after I had dropped off
I
Robert.
didn't start till 3, so
Yeah, I went back around 2. There's something else I wanted to talk about, and I can't think of it.
you got 24 hours.
Hopefully, Daisho can again this year.
Figure that out on Monday.
Fuck.
No, let's not torture Joey in his sleep. One of our friends is very suggestive. Like you can talk to him in his sleep, and he'll do stuff.
No, we didn't know this. We were just joking around. We found out he's that way. Because we're just joking around constantly and throwing out all these ridiculous things. Like, I think we ended up saying, like, oh, what you're going to do is you're going to get up in the middle of the night, you're going to go, take the ice bucket, go into the shower, dump it all over yourself, and then go back to bed. And it's like, aha, and he was getting
Like,
slightly...
legit asleep, right? Like you guys checked to make sure he was legit asleep. And
Yeah.
not doing it for attention.
No, we told him that before he went to sleep.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm not saying like I'm saying he didn't like wake up and decide, oh, I'm gonna do this for attention and go do it. He was legit asleep.
He was legit asleep.
Okay.
Tell him how he woke up, TJ.
So the way the room was organized is that there's double bed, and then the bathrooms. I'm right against the wall next to the bathroom, so I'm as far down as you can get. All I know is that we're all laughing, haha, and we all went to bed. I wake up, I kind of pick up my head, and Joey's right there at the foot of my bed, staring up at me. It's like, because I'm still waking up at this point. It's like, Joey, why are you? And then he wakes up at the same time, and just goes, huh, what? And like bolts up, and like storms out of the room yelling, and I bolt up. It's like, Robert, Robert. It worked! Just screaming incessantly because we checked. The ice bucket was empty, and apparently, well, I don't think he's forgiven us for that yet.
I'm surprised he's agreeing to go this year, like, in all honesty. I guess he thinks that he had a year by last year, so hopefully you guys won't mess with him this year.
Now we just have to catch up on the tournament from last year.
Let's not tell him about these videos till after we get his money for the hotel room. Then we can.
And gas money.
Gas money. Okay.
Money.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. You were gonna say something. Oh, do you have any plans for cosplay this year at Daisho?
Possibly, maybe.
What were you thinking of?
Jack Skellington. Because I have a friend at work that had access to the right kind of material, like the stripes going the correct way. So we'll see about that.
We were kind of thinking Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett. I'm Mrs. Lovett.
Obviously. But we are getting about to be 19 minutes, so we are going to stop this. But we'll be back in 24 hours. Yes, sir?
I was saying I wasn't channeling Gus enough. I was trying to give very subtle hints, but it's like not obvious enough. Bye.
Goodbye. Bye. We'll be back tomorrow. Bye.